Hi everyone, I'm going to go to share screen and start the presentation. And hello to everyone. My name is Dr. Emily Letran, and it's my great honor to be here on this presentation. And I want to share with you how to be a high performer, a great business owner, and a wonderful parent. My name is Dr. Emily Letran. I'm an international speaker, high performance coach, marketing strategist, business consultant, author, the founder of Action to Win Seminar, and best mom in the world. I want to say thank you for investing the time to grow yourself and your business. I want you to have an open mind and be willing to share and learn from each other. You can connect with me on my website, americandreamcoach.com, and you can join my Facebook group, Action to Win Egypt. For this presentation, I promise to deliver values. In the presentation, you're going to learn strategies for dealing with stress, how to manage time between family and business life, how to be inspired to start new projects, how to position yourself as a leader in the business. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you a special invitation and a special gift. A little bit about myself. I was actually born in Vietnam back in the late 60s. That was during the Vietnam War. Growing up, I have my mom, my dad, an older brother, and two younger siblings. Now, growing up during the war, what I saw on TV were bombings. There were dead bodies. There were people fleeing villages and a lot of propaganda. In 1975, the Vietnam War ended, the Americans left, and the communists took over. And that began a series of dark days. We used to stand in line to buy whatever the government was willing to sell to us. It could be old rice, it could be stale bread, it could be moldy noodles. As a kid, I used to stand in one of those lines to buy food for the family. 1 year after the communists took over, my mother passed away due to cancer. I was 8 years old. And a couple of years after that, Vietnam was going to go to war again with China in the north and Cambodia in the west, and they were drafting all the young men to go to war. At this point, my aunt decided to leave the country. She was going to take her two kids, my two older cousins, and my older brother. And I'm a girl. I wasn't going to be drafted, but my dad told me, you need to go with your aunt because you're the oldest girl in the family. So I left the country. I left my dad and two younger siblings. I was 13 years old, and I never saw him again. Now, how many of you have been on a cruise? You know, a big boat, a lot of amenities, beautiful, large boat. It's like a hotel on the ocean. Well, my first cruise was on a fishing boat. It was about 13 meters in length with 60 people crammed together, just like sardines. We were on the ocean for 7 days. The first 2 days with food, and the next 5 days just with sips of water. Some of you may have been to an exotic location, a resort where you have a lot of food and drinks and beautiful scenery. My exotic location was a refugee camp where we live in makeshift shelter with limited food, water, and electricity. The refugee camp was Pulau Bidong, and if you Google it, you can find it. It was in Malaysia, and we lived there for several months. And um, every day we would stand in line to get one bucket of water, fresh water. That's one per family, because the refugee camp was on an island, and we would get a package of food, some rice, some dry noodles, a small canned food, and that was supposed to last us for 3 days. And we lived on this island for several months, and we were finally very lucky to be accepted to come to the United States as refugees. So when I came to the United States, my luggage were hope and faith. I remember trying to learn English, staying up every night, learning and translating every word from English to Vietnamese so I could understand what was being taught to me. That big blue dictionary right in the middle of the page that you see, that was my friend, the Bible. Every night I would use that dictionary to translate from English to Vietnamese. And the yellow one on the right hand side, that's the one I take to school with me. So I would sometimes try to translate it under the table, right? Trying to translate words as a teacher they're teaching. I used to drive an old car, a 1984 Nissan Sentra, the car going back to home and going to different clinics to practice. And one day that car died, left me standing by the freeway. There was no cell phone back then, so I'm standing by the freeway, jumping up and down, trying to get people to notice me so they would stop by and tow my car to the shop. And I left my car in the shop knowing very well that I didn't have enough money to take it out. And my grant checks and my scholarships check, they weren't coming for another 2 weeks. So I would walk around the school asking friends to lend me money so I could get my car out. And my extended family, there were 10 of us. We live in a 2 bedroom. So a couple of us would end up sleeping on the floor, and I was one of them. So I slept on the floor for several years, going through this whole schooling, college, dental school. And because of all those difficulties, I was very driven. I finished my undergrad, which is the bachelor degree, in 3 years instead of 4 years, finished with honors. And when I went to UCLA, I finished my dental degree and a master in oral biology together in 4 years. This is actually a picture of me walking out of Royce Hall at UCLA on the graduation day. I was beaming with joy. So when I graduated, I got married, had 3 beautiful children. I bought my first dental practice, my second dental practice, my third dental practice. Every day I would wake up, take my kids either to the babysitter or to school, and then I would go to work. I would work from 9 to 2. And I would take a break from 2 to 4, go pick up my kids again, and then come back to work from 4 to 6. And the practices were growing, my kids were growing. My husband works as an engineer, so he has a job, so he would just leave in the morning, come back in the evening. So I'm juggling all this, and I feel very successful because I'm able to do all this. And one day, my son, he was in second grade, he came up to me and he said, Mom, next week on Tuesday at 11:30, we have a recital and I want you to come. And I'm thinking, who has a recital in the middle of the day? That means that I would have to leave work at 11, go there and watch his program for half an hour, and then come back, resume work, and then leave again at 2 o'clock to go pick him up. So I went to my daughter, she was 4 years older, and I said, Jennifer, I don't remember attending the recital when you were in second grade. And Jennifer looked at me and she said, Mom, I did have a recital. You just didn't come. And that was like a slap in the face because here I am, I'm thinking I'm successful, I'm running multiple businesses, and I'm taking care of my family, yet I miss a special moment in my daughter's life. And that's when I made the decision that I need to be on point. I need to learn how to be productive. I need to be able to do more in less time so I could finish things at work and I could be present at home. And I will never miss a special moment in my kid's life again. And that's when I started this journey on learning management, learning high performance, learning marketing, so I can achieve all that and be able to still be the best mom in the world. I'll just share with you my story, how I came to the United States on a boat, being a refugee in a refugee camp. What is your boat story? What kind of challenges are you facing? You're trying to handle kids and work. Maybe, there's challenges at the business. Maybe it's plateauing. Maybe it's stagnant. And what is your recorder story? Are you at that moment when you know that you need to do something different, that turning point? Because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. Because I would invite you to consider learning, get training and development in high performance. Because the secret to control stress, to avoid burnout, to grow your business, and to maximize ROI is to have high performance habits, to leverage your assets, to learn how to do marketing, to track business metrics, and make sure that you have the help and the collaboration that you need. And what I'm going to share with you is not something that I read somewhere, I learned somewhere. It's actually tried and true methods coming from the experience of being an owner of 2 multi-specialty dental group practices in Southern California. I had 3 practices for about 9 years out of the 27 years practicing as a dentist. Right now, we have a total of 14 operatories. We have specialists, we have general dentists, we have team members. I'm also a serial entrepreneur, so I'm an author of several books. I speak internationally. I train in high performance leadership. I help with marketing strategy. I also run Action to Win seminars. The last one was actually held in March, recent March, in Cairo, Egypt. So, some of the things that stress people out are lack of clarity, not knowing what you need, not knowing what you should do. When people have too many things to do, or they have too many choices, and they can't make a decision. There's a lack of leadership, uh, leading your team, leading your coworker, leading your family. Poor management of expectations. When you don't communicate what is to be expected, and somebody come in and they think you're going to do something different, like if a patient come in and they think they're getting a filling and you're actually going to do a crown, you can have conflict and that can stress you out. Lack of energy. Imagine if you don't have enough energy so you can do the work better. When you go home and you're so tired, but you want to spend time with your kids, you're going to have stress and lack of support. Some people think that they're on their own. They have to figure everything out on their own. No, you don't. You have mentors, you have coaches, you have people who can support you, or maybe it's your peer. But even when you reach out to your peer, make sure that that's the right people. But you don't want to reach out to your friend across town and they're struggling just like you. So when you want to go from stress to best with high performance, we focus on clarity, energy, courage, influence, productivity, and necessity. Necessity is having that drive, wanting to do better. Now with clarity, I want to emphasize that you know who you are, you know your values, you know your strength, you know your weakness, you know what you want, what are your goals, what are the milestones, and you know how to get what you want. Do you have a plan to achieve your dream? I want you to take out your phone and to set an alarm. You can set an alarm about 30 minutes from now. And you think, close your eyes and think of three words that describe your ideal self. Who do you want to be? What kind, what kind of qualities? Is it to be more successful? Is it to be more happy? Is it to be more influential? What are the qualities that describe your ideal self? And then I want you to go to your cell phone, to the alarm, where it say label. I want you to put in those three words. And then set the alarm about 30 minutes from now. And then just leave it there because we'll come back to that. But now you have three words that describe your ideal self. And I want you to think, and those of you who got the questionnaire, you got some thinking, getting engaged a little bit. What area in your business or your life do you need to focus more on right now? Is it to make more money? Is it to have more time with family? And what kind of specific steps could you do? Could you focus on to improve in those areas? And do you need help with that? I want to tell you a story. It's called a UK connection story. Several years ago, I went to the UK to attend an event with my friend. And I went to the event, and I know there's a lady there. Her name is Mirella, and she owns a magazine. And I went there to attend the event, but what I really want is to be featured on the magazine. So I went there, I met her, I gave her my book. And when I came back to the United States, I had a radio show, and I invited her to be on my radio show. So what do you think happened after that? She featured me on the magazine. And after that, we kept in touch as friends. She came to the United States to record a documentary, and I was holding meetups once a month. So I invited her to come and speak to my meetup. She's the lady with a little red right there, right in the middle of the group. So she came to speak. And guess what happened after that? She invited me to come to London, UK, because she was holding a conference. It's called Inspiring Migrant Women Conference. I'm right there on the top row, the third one from the right. And I joined all these beautiful women to share my story. After that event, she came back to the United States to have a conference, and she invited me to be on a panel, to be interviewed. And you see that lady who's wearing white standing on the side, who's moderating the panel. Her name is Dr. Aura Embarras. She is a psychologist and a professor at the university. She also has a magazine. And after interviewing me on the panel, she put me on the front page of the magazine. It was a cover story. And so I want to share with you these strategies because number one, I have that clarity that I want to put myself out there. I want to be known. I want to be an influential person. And all of this, getting on the magazine and getting on stage, didn't cost me any money. It was me putting myself out there, providing value. Steve Jobs said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's life. And so whenever you're spending time doing something for some other people, make sure that that's alignment with your value. And I want you to think, when was the last time you put yourself first? Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 months ago? Was it, you don't remember? And let's do an exercise. I want you to rate yourself from 1 to 10, 10 being the best. And here are 3 statements. 1 is, I live in alignment with my values. 2, I live in integrity with what I believe and tell people. This is not with Facebook, right? What you put on Facebook or Instagram. 3 is, I focus on what's most important. For me, it's myself, my family, and my goals. Give yourself a score from 1 to 10. Best score, 30. A lot of time when I'm sharing these and an event, when I'm speaking, a lot of people score below 20. So we know that we have a lot of work that we need to do. One of my clients, Dr. Katie, has a seven-figure business, right? Have a beautiful family, her kid, her husband, extended family. And what she felt was she needs to spend more time with her family. So sometimes when people have that drive to do real well in business, but they're not taking care of the family, that's going to be what they want to work on. And you need to have that clarity. What's most important to you? What part of life do you need to fulfill? And if you want to fulfill certain expectations, you need to tell people. You need to communicate with people what's important to you. Do the people around you, your family, your team members, your customers, do they know what you want? Do they know what you expect? Do they know your goals? Do they know their goals? And do they know how to achieve it? A lot of time when I talk to teams, they don't know what the doctor wants. They don't know what the doctor's goals are. They don't know. The doctor say, okay, we need to do this, but they never were given clarity, clear expectations, strategies, systems on how to get to whatever the doctor's goal is. So when you have more clarity and you have more focus and you have the support of experts, mentors, coaches, you can take action with less mistakes. You're going to have less stress and you can create higher ROI in just about everything you do. Switch here and talk about energy. Energy in high performance is mental energy and physical energy. I want you to think, do you think you need more sleep? Because having enough sleep will affect your energy. Do you need to drink more water? If you have water by your side, now's the time we're all going to take a sip of water. Are you exercising? You don't have to do these bending exercise, but are you walking? Maybe you're walking 20 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day. Maybe you do some yoga. Maybe you do some meditation. Do something to recharge your energy. This was one of my past events. We were doing a Qigong exercise and we were tapping ourselves to increase the blood flow in our body, increase the oxygen to our brain. And you can see everybody's having a great time tapping themselves. One of my clients, Dr. V, she is an endodontist. One of her passions is cooking. So she started a Facebook group called Endo Cafe. You're welcome to join the group. And she talked about how to make beautiful, healthy, nutritious home cooked meals. And guess what? You can engage your kids. You can make it into a family event. Having more energy, meaning you're happier. You smile more. How many dentists do you know who are kind of cranky, who are not happy? This is a picture of me and my kids right before we go parasailing. I don't take pictures until I see teeth, so everybody's smiling. You need to be able to smile at yourself, to laugh at yourself. This was me in Vietnam on an ostrich. Every time you get on an ostrich, it's $1. So this picture cost me $4 or $5 because I would get on the ostrich, fall off, and my husband hasn't taken the picture. So be able to laugh at yourself. This is me at Halloween. This past Halloween, I decided to dress up as the Incredible, right in front of the dental office. It took me several tries for her to take this picture too. And this was me recently in Egypt. I'm sure you've seen this kind of picture where you just say, okay, raise your hand, and then he put a rock right there. Laugh at yourself. It's funny. When we go to event, seminar, we dress up just for fun. This is at one of the dental seminar, me and some of my staff, we dress up as minions. Patients come in, cranky, wanting to fight with you. I show them this. They say, Ashes of problem patient. When the patients see that, they're going to laugh. They're going to be more relaxed. They're going to be more willing to talk to you. Another sign in front of the office, complaint department. Push red button to complain. One of my favorite signs, mom's kitchen. Monday closed, Tuesday self-service. Wednesday half a day, Thursday out shopping. Friday eating out, Saturday day off, Sunday's a day of rest. Funny sign, people come in, they expect to see a dentist who is funny. Maybe the staff is more relaxed. Maybe you're a little bit sarcastic, but they know they're in a different environment. Let's do an energy exercise. I want you to give yourself a score again from 1 to 10. I do put myself first from 1 to 10. I do care for myself well. I'm kind to myself. I pay attention to myself. Give yourself a score. How can you increase those scores? I'm sure you see this a lot, especially when you're walking around the airport, right? Everybody's charging their phone. You don't want your phone to die. You need to charge. You need to recharge, charge, recharge. When was the last time you do that for yourself? Maybe just spending the time by yourself. This was a picture of me. I was taking a picture of my shadow when I was riding a horse by myself. Me time. Or maybe you spend time with the people who are similar to you and you all there to recharge together. A big part of high performance is having courage. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. That's what Mark Twain said. We're not talking about saving lives, running into burning buildings. I'm talking about dealing with a difficult patient. Or maybe you have to go and fire somebody. Or maybe you have difficult decision. Which way do I take? What do I do? I tell you a little story about courage called The Speaker Journey. Several years ago in 2014, I wrote a book called From Refugee to Renaissance Woman. And then I wrote another book called Commit to Embracing Your Big Life. And my business coach at that time, he recommended me start speaking and sharing my story. And I told him, no, I'm a dentist. I don't want to be a speaker. But a little while after that, one of my friends invited me to come and speak at her event. And she said, I know your story. Great story. Come and speak. You have 10 minutes to speak. So I was on stage. There were 20 people in the room. And I did my 10-minute speech. And I got off stage. And I thought, this is a horrible experience. Why would anyone want to be a speaker? Right? So I said, I'm done. I don't want to speak anymore. And several months after that, another friend came to me and said, hey, Emily, TEDx is looking for a speaker. And I want you to apply. The TEDx is a local TEDx. So I thought, oh, that's a great opportunity to share my story and inspire people. So I decided to apply and got accepted. So I wrote up my speech. I had my mentor edit it for me, and I memorized the speech because for TEDx, they recommend you memorize the speech for 13 minutes. And a couple of weeks before the TEDx, I was at a meeting. It was the end of the day. And I decided to practice my TEDx speech to this group. And at the end, they go, when are you doing this again? And I said, in 2 weeks. They said, you better be practicing some more because you're not good. So I went home. I put my two sons on the bed and I say, Mommy, I'm going to give you a speech. And at the end, I want you to give me the feedback. Well, I did my 13-minute speech. And at the end, the kids say, Mom, your pronunciation is wrong. Your enunciation is wrong. Your words are wrong. Your voices are wrong. I mean, they gave me all this feedback that was very discouraging. So what do you do when you're speaking to an audience and they kind of discourage you? Easy. You change your audience. So I found my new audience. They're very happy. They're very supportive. They don't say anything bad to me. And I build up my confidence until the day I went and did TEDx. And you know, the day that I spoke on a TEDx screen, my two sons were in the audience. And at the end, they didn't tell me what I did wrong. They had tears in their eyes. So when you are very driven, you know what you want to do, and you just step up. You need a little courage. You need a little pushing. You need somebody to encourage you. You can achieve big dreams. You can achieve things that you have never done before. From that, I went to doing my own events. I went to speak internationally in India, in Australia, on big stages of Think and Grow Rich. And I help my clients make difficult decisions that need to be made with courage. One of my clients, she was thinking about a divorce. And I help her think through the pros and the cons and make the difficult decision that maybe separation was the best thing for her. So think about it. If you had more courage, what would you start doing? And if you can make harder and better decisions, do you think your life will change? I just want you to write down one commitment for you to step up courage that you're going to do in the next 30 days. Because we can all do that. I just share with you my story. We can all do something that we've never done before. Yes, we do need to put in some training. Yes, we may need a little push from our mentor, but we can do it. Now, sometimes people come to me and say, Emily, how can you do so much? There's so many things to do. How could you do that? Well, it all has to do with intention. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. That's what Stephen Covey said. So if you set the intention to do only the things that support your goals, you're going to see that you can do more, you can accomplish more, and you still have your sanity. Some people think they can multitask. These are my two sons. They were watering the plant. You can see that he's watering the ground. Alan, the older one, is reading a comic book, and Austin is just standing there for look. Sometimes you think you multitask, but you're not, because you're not really doing well either of the tasks. Some of you are suffering having the weapons of mass distraction. You have Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and whatever new platforms that are out there. You're not paying attention. You say, well, you know what, Emily, I don't have time. The last time I took a vacation was so long ago. Well, when you do your calendar, guess what's on there first? Vacation, family time. If you say I'm going to do marketing and I'm going to send out an email or I'm going to send out a message, when are you going to do that? Oh, I'm going to do that every week. No, it needs to be on the calendar. You're going to do that every Monday at 3:00, right? Do you have hobby time? Do you have me time? I would ask my client, what's your hobby? And they would look at me like they don't know what I'm talking about. They don't remember their hobby. When was the last time they took time for themselves? That's how you be productive and you can still spend time with yourself and recharge yourself. A lot of people have a to-do list. What about not to-do list? Things that you shouldn't do. Like go pick up your friend from the airport. Just tell them to take an Uber. You can go to the airport and pick up an elderly parent or a relative, but you don't have to go pick up your friend because they can do that themselves. So some of us, we're saying yes to things that we don't need to do. How about a not now list? Things that are important, but we don't have to do that right now. Some people think they have to do everything right now and they drive themselves crazy. And when they look at what's most important, because what we mean by important is the thing that will support the goals that support your values. And if they're not in alignment, you can say no or you can say not now. So I want you to think about how you leverage people and the tools and the resources like this. These are my two kids when they were younger. And, they actually are folding newsletter. And you can see Austin is sitting on the floor there and he got some stamps next to him. Leverage them. Okay, it's a joke. But anyway, leverage the people around you. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything. And wouldn't it be nice when you ask people to do things, tell people to do things that they listen to you? That's influence, right? And a big part of influence is being a role model. An influencer will teach you how to think. They will challenge you how to grow, and they will role model their way. So my role model is my mentor, Sharon Lecter. She co-wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm sure maybe a lot of you have read that. This is her at a business conference. This is 7 a.m. in the morning. You can see her there. There are actually two kids at the table, the one on the right and the one on the left. Those are both my kids. This is the same day at 11 p.m. in her hotel room. She's still coaching. People are laughing. People are smiling. This is her after she was traveling internationally and missed a flight, so she ended up in the wrong country. When she got back to LAX, I went out there to say hi to her, asked her to smile for me. She smiled, beautiful smile, always staying very positive. 30 minutes after that, she's in the studio getting prepared to film for a documentary. This is us in India, visiting a temple, and right before we get on stage, always that smile. So think of who's your role model. And then write down the characteristics that you admire from your role model. Is it because they positive, because they're smiling a lot, they sacrifice, they productive? Okay, what are the characteristics? And all I want you to do is just step up and start practicing those, and then you become your role model. And one of the best way to create influence is to write a book. I mentioned to you, I wrote a couple of books. I also wrote a handbook for patients. These are things that you want your patient to know. They're more educated. It's a handbook. The most recent book is called No Nonsense Dentistry for Dental Peeps, and we share practical insight on how to run your dental practice, how to have a productive life, and still with sanity, to spend time with your family. Being featured in a magazine. If you're out there delivering values, sharing your message, somebody's going to see that. And then they start featuring you. That's when you know that you become, quote, the true expert. This is me being featured in Dental Town magazine, and I'm sure you know Dental Town is the largest dental platform on the planet. I got featured twice. I also wrote for magazine, still writing. This one is for Dentistry IQ, and then I also submit article for Dentistry Today, getting featured on TV. This is a segment called Asian Voices, and I'm on there sharing my personal experience. Show what you've done. When you go to my dental office in the waiting room, you see the certificate, and then you see um, my article, and you see my book. They're all framed, they're up there. So people come in and they know this is a different office, right? They walk through the door and they see some plaques of community service, and they see handwritten testimonials. When they walk down the hallway, they see a lot of certificates. These are continuing education classes that we have to take, but the patients don't know that. And when they walk down this hall, actually up the hall, they think I'm really smart. Another way to create influence is to sponsor and host events. This is a picture of me and the kids, and we also went with several staff members doing a dental mission in Costa Rica. We also host movie nights. It's going to be kind of hard to do that now. And we invite our patients to the movie theater to watch a good movie, have some popcorn and a drink. Joining different associations. On the left hand side, it actually is Women Dentists Worldwide, and it's a professional organization. It has affiliation with the FDI. And on the right hand side is a group of business owners. Several of them are leaders, community leaders that come to my meeting locally every month. If you want to influence people, make sure you communicate with them the right way. Uh, the COBA test is something that you can look into. It helps you figure out your strength. You can work toward your strength and not your weakness. So work toward your strength, and then you hire people to complement you and take care of your weakness. If you want to be influential, have your own platform. Very important that you have something of your own. I had a radio show for about 18 months, and then the travel schedule for speaking got very crazy. So I stopped that. But then I do my events, live events, and then I leverage other people's platform. I'm on Dentistry Uncensored with Dental Town. Another one called um, we talk about maximizing your team potential. A different one, when people say I can't, we talk about mindset. I've been on multiple platforms just to leverage their audience. Speaking at other people's events. I recently spoke in Egypt at the Women Economic Forum. I held my event there in Cairo, Action to Win. It was hosted by Hyatt Dental Education. And I also got to speak at this particular event that is, again, associated with the FBI. So ask yourself, who do you want to be a role model for? Is it for your kids? Is it for your team? Is it for the community? And I want you to write down two things that you're going to implement in the next 90 days to increase your influence. Because when you can increase your influence, you can attract more patients, you can close more cases, and you can decrease stress. Being an influential person help you achieve a lot of things. Now you may ask, why do I spend the time giving a presentation and sharing my message? I want to leave a legacy. I want to inspire people and let them know that you can be bigger than who you are. You don't have to be a dentist and you provide dental service locally. You can have social impact and cultural impact all over the world if You have that intention, you have that drive, and you put yourself out there with values. My why are my three children. Jennifer is she's finishing up first year dental school at UCLA. Alan has just finished his second year of a 5-year pharmacy program. And Austin, we call him the performer, the baby, because he's in arts and theater and choir and writing for magazines and art and newspaper, and yet still a baby at home. So my values, my why are very clear. I want to create a legacy, and I want to be that loving parent to my children, and I want to be a great business owner. And my success has been a journey with mentors. My two of my mentors, Brennan Bouchard, high performance coach, and Sharon Lecter, global business mentor. I've learned through the journey the strategies, the mindset, developing courage in order to do what I've done. And what I want to do is I want to be a resource to you. I want to be the catalyst to help you accelerate your process and become a high performer. So I invite you to join me in the group training and support where we have monthly calls. And we also have a private Facebook group where we can communicate. You can directly ask me questions. You can take a screenshot of that, go to the page, tinyurl.com/commitments and results, and check that out. And I would love to have you as part of that group. And like I said, I have a gift. You can email me at emily@exceptionalleverage.com, and I will send you a productivity blueprint. I know that I have provided some values, some insight on how to fast track, become a high performer, and have become a better business owner. Obviously, there's a lot to learn. Obviously, the changes will come gradually, but I invite you to make a decision to start today, to make changes, to learn, and be better. The ideal self, your ideal self, be a better mom, a better dad, a better business owner, and a better leader. So at some point during this presentation, your phone probably rang, okay? And I know it rang because I asked you to set the time 30 minutes into the presentation. And then you're going to look at it and you're going to see those three words. Okay, those three words will remind you to stay grounded, remind you of those values. And if you set up that alarm and let it ring randomly at a time during the day, and you have to go and turn off the phone, you're gonna look at those three words and they're gonna remind you to be that person. And that's why I asked you to do that exercise with the cell phone. I know you're all ready to take your business and your life to the next level. Thank you so much for your attention, for attending the presentation. I hope you sign up and be part of my group so I can support you to accelerate growth in business. And best wishes to everybody, and may the floss be with you. And thank you so much for joining me in this presentation. I hope I give you good values. And again, join the group and email me to get the productivity blueprint. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve, to share my insights, my strategies, and best wishes to everybody.